Okay.
No, I didn't do that yet. No, not yet. I didn't do it yet. Sorry. I keep tilting.
There's people talking.
There too.
Ready? Go!
Okay, here we go. Here it is. This is it. Welcome to Season 2 of the Biz for Good Show with your hosts, Bobby Glenn James and Ryan Pilkington. The Biz for Good Show podcast is a fun and adventurous series that explores business, socialpreneurs, startups, nonprofits, and promotes that the true secret to success is love. Yeah. Welcome to the Biz for Good Show! Yay. I am your host, Bobby Glenn James, along with the Ryan Pilkington.
What up?
Now, we look like we actually got off without a hitch, and the technology seems like it's working really well, but I think that Facebook Live and YouTube is black screened right now.
Oh, no.
Think. So I'm just going to look and see if I'm correct.
We are correct.
So that looks like a black screen to me, and I think that is supposed to be Facebook Live right now.
All right, well, we just got the lights down.
You think?
It's very dark in here.
Can you go on and see what Facebook looks like? And YouTube looks completely non-existent.
YouTube vanished.
Let's see.
Overnight. It was a one-hit wonder.
There's potentially...
Here today, gone tomorrow.
Put that on the one-hit wonder list right there. YouTube, coming in at number 3 on the one-hit wonders.
Yeah,
it was a great idea.
It says offline. Offline can't be right, can it?
We're
offline.
Up and running.
Oh, is it? We're live?
We are running, people.
Oh, so it looks like only YouTube is a problem. So you see us there?
No, I'm blind. Yes, I see myself.
So video's working. I will shut up now because everything is completely as it should be. On with the show. Ryan, what's our show today?
Stay tuned to episode 100 when we don't do this anymore.
We don't do the show anymore? Why are you going to quit
no,
at 100,
this
Ryan?
Technical stuff because we'll figure it out.
Oh, we're going to have it all figured out at 100? That's a guarantee?
Guarantee.
People, keep listening to see if that is a true statement.
It's only 42 more tries.
Hang in with us, people.
42 more. That's math.
But there's no guarantees on episode 101.
Oh, no.
Oh, gee.
Kevin. Your spoiler alert.
Man.
Hey, you weren't supposed to say anything, Kevin. If we could have just pulled off 100.
We're on episode 58 of the Biz for Good Show podcast.
58.
That's 3 more than 55.
Very observant.
We got
He
math
is the
people?
math guru today. So every math question goes to Jay because we ask so many.
What is the square root of 2 billion? Never mind. Anyways.
He's thinking right now.
I was going to say.
He's almost
Cut
there.
me off.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
Ryan.
was fixing to answer, but now he's not gonna.
Sorry, Jay.
Yeah. Had it.
God, you can't cut off the guests like that, Ryan.
It's my show.
Oh, that's right. We can do whatever we want.
Anyway.
Off with their heads. Oh, you can't do that, though.
That's 44,721.35954999579 approximately.
See?
You know, ever
Yeah.
since we have technology, I cannot even do 2 plus 2 anymore. Oh, 2 plus 2. Crap. What is that? Let's look on the phone. Oh, it's 4.
All right. Episode 58, we're going to be sitting down with the Founders Roundtable.
EFL 360.com. Check it out.
Today's discussion is going to be going from plan to do.
Going from plan to do. I'm excited about this because any action with the word DO in it, I'm all over it. Or title, not action.
Title.
Any title with the word do in it is rocking, in my opinion.
Awesome.
Like that matters, but anyway.
All right, yeah. The EFL Roundtable 360. Oh, man. EFL 360 Roundtable is passionate leaders that we meet every Thursday at 4 to
We
6.
meet every Thursday on this square table for the round table.
Yeah, the Roundtable. We have the 360 meeting. What is that called?
Ultimate
360.
networking meeting.
Ultimate networking. EFL 360 Weekly.
And what do you guys do again?
We network and meet and connect. You guys,
Yeah.
why am I talking?
Just a highly effective take on networking where it's not just coming in to pitch your crap, but it's networking to actually build your business.
And
where you
make
can
real relationships.
real
and
relationships and bring real problems and get real help from, well, real people. I'm going to go with real today. Real.
The word for the day is real.
Real. And that was Kevin Taylor. And then we have Jay Taylor. You got any thoughts on?
And you people out there, all of our fans out there know this is EFL 360 Round Table. Every month we go it, and so these beautiful gentlemen come here with us to talk about business concepts and ideas, and you keep coming back. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They've been consistent.
Consistent.
It's kind of like, why do I keep coming back to EFL? I'm used to it now, and I got to keep coming, right?
That's right. That's right. It's just a thing that I do.
Definitely.
I'm keeping it real.
Real.
Well, you can find us in the iTunes section under marketing. So a lot of this falls into the roundtable. We like to talk about how to improve your business, how to. They do all sorts of amazing, fun things on how to grow your business. And so today we'll be talking about planning. And I'll turn it over to Bobby to talk about Speak Up.
Speak Up. Speak Up. Professional Speakers Studio. Are you a speaker? Do you want to be a speaker? Do you know you have a message inside you that you need to get out, but you're not sure how to do it or what it is exactly? You need somebody to assist you in ripping it out of your butt.
Wow.
Anyway, speakupspeakers.com. At Speak Up, we entertain, inspire, and educate. That is the true mastery in a way to make an impact on stage. Entertain, inspire, and educate. SpeakUpSpeakers.com.
You had an event last night. I want to do a shout out for that event.
An amazing event. We did what's called Story Magic last night, where we teach people the magic of the stories they tell and how to tell their story in a way that makes the most impact. That every author, every great director of every movie uses these concepts to tell the story in a way that engages the listener. People don't understand when they're really engaged with somebody's telling a story, there's a reason for that. Because there's some specific steps of the story to make it engaging.
There was some vulnerability.
We always do some vulnerability stuff.
You had some amazing speakers.
We had people that got up, so took it on. So at Speak Up, we don't just sit there and talk to people and sit there and blab in their face. We actually get the people in the audience, in the crowd, to get up and do things and make an impact, and there are so many powerful people in this world.
Yeah, you made the guy get mad telling
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, so the premise was he was telling the Sleeping Beauty story, but he had to do it extremely angry. It was so funny. I wanted to date her, but I was so mad that I couldn't date her. Then this wicked witch lady, she made me so mad. It was pretty funny. He took it on. That's awesome. Okay. Anyway, it was a great event last night. We had some really cool, neat people.
So check it out on
SpeakUpSpeakers.com.
All right. Well, welcome to Biz for Good Show. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, BizForGoodShow.com,
BizForGoodShow.com,
iTunes, Stitcher, whatever.
I'm just a parrot, right?
I say.
Whatever.
Say. Yeah.
You says. You got it. Those two are like, why are we here? These guys are just. You're in La La Land.
At the rate you're paying us, you can keep going. We're fine. I mean, we're collecting.
Folks, can we just welcome to the show, Kevin and Jay. Thank you so much for showing up. And dealing with us, frankly. Dealing with us.
We've been here since noon.
See, we used to pretend that Ryan is supposed to keep us on track, but we have realized me and Ryan are both freaking kitty cats running around.
We're just winging it.
Ryan, what happened to you? You were such
Yeah.
a good influence on Bobby for a while.
Really, what happened?
He's come to the dark side.
Well, I was telling a story to Michelle. It's off camera here. That like it's like wrangling a wild stallion on the show. You try to rope and so I think I gave up. Maybe I fell off the horse.
You fell off the horse and walked home.
You just found another horse. You found your own horse.
Yeah,
Now we got to get him back on the wagon.
yeah, I did it again.
Back on the way.
Dang it!
He took us for a ride. Okay, how are you guys doing? Tell us a little bit about Kevin and Jay. So,
I'm just happy to be here.
so let's talk about the title. Why did we come up with that title? You guys give us your input really quick, and we'll just go with it.
So where did it come from? Ryan, before the show started, said, "Hey, let's talk about planning," and we started trying to figure out what part of planning to talk about, because it is you can plan a meeting to plan your plan, and so you can start planning that plan to plan me. Yeah, I mean, there's so much involved in planning that we're just trying to figure what really do we want to know about planning. And Ryan said, well, how do you take it from like you have this great inspiring meeting where you get all these great to-dos and you come back the next week and you solve the exact same problem again and get all these great inspiring outcomes, and you come back the next week and solve the same problem again because nothing happens in between. You know, I think that probably is one of the great downfalls of planning is we got this great plan, now who's responsible? What do we do with it?
Or it looks like a giant elephant. And what do you do with this giant elephant of a plan? I know I get frozen sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh. And you just sit there and do nothing.
According to Linda Pilkington, you eat the elephant one spoon at a time. I've heard her
right.
say that.
Yep, several times. One bite, baby.
She's like doing stuff behind my back here. So.
And I've found when I get that way, where I feel stuck because it's so big, and I just feel I just pick one teeny bitty thing, one little bitty thing, and I just do that, and then it works. It's true.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. We're getting into something that I had actually planned to talk about during the EFL 360 weekly Ultimate Networking meeting this afternoon from 4 to 6 at the Miller Business Center.
Plug, shameless plug.
Shameless.
But one of the ideas that what you're talking about, Bobby, is actually one of the key ideas of getting things done. Where he says you've got these big projects, these elephant projects, and you got to break it down until you can get to a thing you can do. You know, you cannot do. You know, you're
1 million in revenue tomorrow.
yeah. How do you do that? I wake up in the morning. I'm going to throw it off to the side because I can't solve it right now, and I'm going to answer email number 1.
Yeah.
Right? And one of David Allen's premises of getting things done is get something you can actually act on. You know, break down this huge project into pieces and break the pieces down until you get to, I can do this.
What do you got, Ryan?
I'm going to throw out 2 tools based on what you just said.
2 tools.
A fork and a
First,
knife.
no,
Oh,
Hammer and a screwdriver.
no.
Duct tape and needle nose pliers.
Yes,
that's it.
was it.
That's it. High five.
MacGyver wins.
Boy, we know how to take you off track, baby. Go ahead.
All right, Ryan's 2 tools.
This is why I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. The first tool is distractions. Eliminate your distractions.
Okay, everybody leave the room.
That would be you.
Yeah, that's right.
Eliminate distractions. Have you ever been to one of our meetings?
Just a big distraction.
I sometimes think it's a big distraction that has a little bit of guidance behind it and ends up in a really good spot.
Sometimes distractions are good. What? Tennis ball.
Where? What? All right.
What's the second one?
Eliminate
we have
distraction.
proven the first one really well. What's the second?
Well, I mean, like mobile, and like emails, like getting all those kind of out of the way, and then the second tool would be like maybe a timer on an agenda level.
Oh yeah.
2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes.
You know, that is actually huge time to actually look at it. I know when we do classes or when we're teaching or when I'm teaching something, and if I have an outline, it really assists me to have time slots. Even if I may or may not follow them, seeing where I'm at in an event, especially if it's like a day long or several day long, to see where I should be is super powerful. It keeps you on track. You don't get too far off one way or the other.
Eliminates distraction.
Yeah. You know, and I think also being able to recognize this is supposed to be a 15-minute segment or this is supposed to be a 2-hour segment, and you don't end up just droning on for an hour and a half, look down and realize, oh, whoop, we just missed lunch. All right, well.
Yeah, people don't like that.
No. You know, and that is being able to recognize, you know, especially if you said, you know, this is a 20-minute thing we're doing. Once you hit minute 21, you start losing people. You know, now in a lot of multi-day or all-day events, you don't say this is a 20-minute piece because you don't know what the group's going to do. But if you have said, you know, we're doing a 10-minute segment, we're doing a 20-minute segment here, once your time's done, you know, people start zoning out. They're like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I know we've all dealt with
You ever been to
people
church
that
that ran long?
taught. Oh, we're like, oh, you're a professional teacher, you're a professional speaker or whatever, and
You
they
got
like
40
go
minutes.
over 20 minutes over their allotted time, and you're like, you are not a professional, and you'll probably never be brought back. You, as a speaker, you have to know how to stay in a time frame, which in life I would think is the same thing.
Yeah.
Jay has been very quiet.
He's being very
He's taking. Are you taking it all in, Jay?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to add one more thing to this when you say in life. The other time that I recognize this is I've had a lot of salespeople come into the office. And, you know, when they're on the phone, they're like, 30 minutes. I need 30 minutes of your time. They get into the office. They spend 20 minutes trying to build a rapport with me. And at 20 minutes, I'm thinking, you're not going to finish this by a half hour. And by the time they finish their rapport building, I'm checking out because I know they're not going to make their schedule. And so they just wasted all that effort because they didn't pay attention to what they'd promised and to their time.
It's huge.
And yeah, I mean, they lost me the second they had me.
You have to keep your word.
Yeah.
You have to be what, and time is a huge deal. What do you think, Jay?
Be your word.
Word.
Absolutely, the 4 agreements, baby. We always go back to the 4 agreements, don't we?
They're important.
Ron, why can't I ever say Miguel Ruiz?
Ruiz.
Yes.
That guy.
Yeah.
Well, I got out of a 7-week program, I think, or 8-week program where we sat for 2 hours and every section was timed on how we moved through the material. And they were very strict. Like, we had a beeper, and then whether we got done with that discussion or that module, we went right into the next one.
How did that settle for you? Did you want to finish some of those, or were you happy that you knew it was moving forward the right way?
Well, the material was there to go back through and review on your own time. So I felt a little okay with it for the most part, since I could go back through it again and again whenever I wanted to. But it kept us on track because I know some meetings get so
Crazy. There's some power there.
So we started with the concept of planning and what planning looks like, and in suggesting 2 actionable items, which are managing distractions and managing our time, we've really gotten to this kind of space where we're really talking about time and this function in planning of managing time. So we could say part of planning is preparing to manage time, and we're really looking at that. Also, the other side of that, in the do part, is yes, giving somebody amount of time to do something, putting it out there, staying on schedule, being our word, but being in the present all of the time and taking advantage of the time. Just having time or just allocating time still isn't enough. And that's kind of where the planning comes back in, is what do you plan to do during that time? How do you plan to use that time? How are you going to be effective in that use? And so timing alone isn't enough, but it's a component, and for some people it's more important than others. I think if we look to the 20th century, timing and the work week and overtime and swing shift and all these things were concepts of the industrial age, right? They were invented. If we look at the leaders in enterprise of the last 10 or 15 years, they've gone away from time management. At Google, for example,
the big ones,
they're in a totally different program as far as time goes. They're not holding people accountable to working a 40-hour work week, not everybody anyway, right? But they're looking at what are you going to get done during this week? How do we boost your creativity? How do we boost your productivity? So,
and the crazy part is a lot of them work 60 hours a week just because they just do.
They do. That's the thing, right?
They're not expected to. They just do because it's
when they're passionate about
that
it.
culture.
Maybe when they're passionate, it aligns with the company.
Yeah. So the aspect of marking time in planning is more of a management concept. How we use our time in planning is more of a leadership concept. How we take ownership for our time, how we take ownership for our project, how we are responsible in our word with respect to what we're doing. And I think those are kind of two components to look at, the management aspect of planning, but also the leadership aspect of planning. And then I think we also need to talk about written planning. We're kind of talking now about putting a time frame down, right? About a schedule, an agenda. And so is of necessity planning to work, does it need to be written? How well does non-written planning work? And think about a vision. When I have a vision of something, is that a form of planning?
A couple of thoughts come to mind as you're talking about the time and companies shifting away from that. I think that really makes planning more important, because if you're not saying you got to come here and mark the time, what are you going to fill your work effort with? Yeah. Do you know that plan? Do you have a clear picture of, I am responsible for accomplishing A, B, C, and D this week? If that takes me 10 hours, I'm golden. If it takes me 70 hours, I still got it done. And I think that really drives home the idea to me of planning being important as we change our paradigm towards time, that it's not just come here and sit at your desk for 40 hours anymore. Then to the question you asked about how well can planning work if it's not written? I think on that we need to look at the time horizon. I think we look at contracts, and in most places, if it's over a year, it better be written down, otherwise it's not valid. And I think we can look at that for planning what we do as well. If I'm planning something and it's only going to take a week, I can probably keep it in mind for 7 days and finish it. If it's going to be a month, there's a good chance I'm going to forget some of the critical details that we discussed 28 days ago when I'm now rushed to get this done in the last 2 days that I've got. So I think, can plans work without being written? Yes, asterisk, if it's short term. No, if it's beyond what you can keep readily in your mind without getting distracted, Ryan.
I've heard you many times, Kevin, a lot of times talk about write it down. You're kind of the guy that says, if you don't write it down, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Haven't you said that before?
If it's not documented, it didn't happen, something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I knew it was some kind of. That was a Kevin statement. and it's true. I mean, there's something magical about writing down the words.
Yeah.
In November of this year, Olive had Right Time Planning, that company, for 9 years. So obviously it's something I believe in, very strongly. I love Kevin's suggestion of putting on a time horizon, what can be accomplished in the short term, medium term, long term. I'm going to add to that the dimension of whether or not I'm planning for myself or someone else. If I'm planning for someone else, effectively creating the plan, acting in a space of leadership or management, perhaps I do need to write it down so it's clear, because what I say might not be what you hear.
Yeah.
And so I think as far as planning,
You say might, like that word actually applies.
Yeah.
okay, more than likely, what I say is not what you're going to hear. So, when we're in a leadership position, and we share a vision and we can be inspiring and speak it and share it, but even people with great visions and great speakers often reduce what they feel, what they think, what they say to writing. Because writing allows us to go back and look at it. The other thing about writing a plan down is we can monitor it more effectively. And without monitoring, we don't know whether or not we're making the plan. We don't know how effective it is. We don't know whether our implementation works.
For me, lists are very powerful. When I can go through and go, okay, done. Boom, next step, next item. Okay, done. For me, that is hugely the way I actually do things that I plan. Without that list, a lot of times I'm in this la-la land.
And to validate that for you, I met you in 2011, and one of your hallmarks is no matter where you are, where you were, you always had an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper folded up in your pocket.
He's reaching for it now.
And
Yes.
that just one of your ways of being, right? And you write things down in that way. And I don't know how you file them or do them, but there is some science.
I got a big folder that I put them in, and so I have them all. It's like this collage.
But it's a way of getting things done for you. It works. It's a part of it. And there's some 20th century brain science or neuroscience that suggests when we write things down, so we see them, we hear them, we take and absorb them. But in the process of writing things down, we validate it, we make it more impermeable.
Lock it in.
We lock it in. So there is some science behind that as well as some practicalities. Not saying that everything has to be written, and not saying that all planning has to be written. But I think when we talk about planning too, we should necessarily include vision. Because I think when one has inspiration, when one has a vision, when one sees things in his mind or her mind, and when we see something happening, an event coming across, we see a great organization, a great cause rising, I'm going to advocate that that's planning. It's planning that's done in the heart, in the soul, in the mind. And then kind of we bring it into the temporal dimension when we write it down and when we speak it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So if you were to, let's do an example or a mock planning. Let's say we were putting together an event. I'm just throwing it out there. And we got together, we got the first meeting, all kind of the first part done, and then the second part.
Can we say what the event is, just so, what
sure.
kind of thing it is, so we
What
can
do you want to?
I don't know.
Bobby's
Concert?
surprise birthday party in May.
Oh, Bobby's
yeah.
surprise birthday.
Don't
Surprise!
tell Bobby.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, let's plan that.
Yeah.
But you're talking about something in the business context,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a planning meeting to do a project or a campaign.
Project or a campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just
So we've put the distractions. We've got the list. We've got the time. We've got our agenda. At the tail end of it, do we do takeaways and to-dos and assign people?
Yeah.
And then we follow up on the next planning meeting?
One thing that I had through an HOA that I'm part of with the president, I was the secretary. I love being secretary. It's a great job.
Fits you very well.
play with the money.
Because I write the notes. I'm the one who writes. But one of the things he said was, every time we discuss something, when we're done discussing it, I want you, talking to me, as the secretary, to write down who is doing what by when. And at the tail end of the minutes for the meeting, there was this chart that had who, what, and when. And it would have somebody's name, their job, and when they're going to have that accomplished by. And that's the only way we got things done in there, was that very clear accountability that was spelled out in one table at the end. You didn't have to even go through the whole minutes, go through all the notes. It was right there in the table. I thought that was a really powerful way to take that plan, very clear accountability that was spelled
Sorry.
and make it real.
There's a ghost in the room.
And
We're
you know,
back to
Bobby,
real.
is so interesting how this come back to two of your most fundamental core beliefs: do and accountability. And I mean, I just think that's interesting how that fits into your living what we're talking about, or you do live what we talk about.
And I think everybody, for success, lives those. They're not mine for sure. It's just, I think that's how everybody becomes successful. I mean, when the buck stops at you, then you have no excuses for failure. It's you, and you fight more to succeed, I think.
Yeah. And Kevin, you bringing it out in the context of kind of real life, you know, and an example of it, I think that really answers Ryan's question, or speaks to one of the best possibilities, is to record it, is to write it down, who's doing what and when it's supposed to be done. And
Clarity is a powerful thing.
Oh, huge.
When I see it and I go, oh, cool, okay, I'm doing this, and I'm doing it by this time. Wow. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I think too often for all of us, you go to a meeting, you come back to the next meeting, they start reading off what you were supposed to do, and half the people there are like, oh yeah,
I forgot.
I better work on that now.
Yeah. So Ryan, I think that time horizon and what Kevin's talking about in a planning meeting, writing down what's going on and then writing down who's doing what and when, and then you're talking about in practicality and function what it looks like, the leader of the meeting, managing the people, and reading it off and saying, okay, just so we're clear, this is who's doing what, this is when it's going to be done, this is who you're going to turn it into, right, and to have that. But I think the leader of planning, the leader of the meeting, then kind of come from that and says, but you know, this is how this works in our total vision. This is a direction we're going. This is what we're looking to do. If Bobby will take care of that and Kevin will handle this, then I believe by spring we're going to be able to start stepping into that new market. We're going to start to be able to work on long-term reserves or something. So there's the management part of planning, but there is that vision, that leadership, that energizing the planning, energizing the do, making it fulfilling, making it exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a big part of good planners.
Yeah.
You're taking us back to why? You're taking us back to why?
The
You can
why.
feel it.
Yeah.
You can
And it's-
absolutely feel that's where it's...
And it's powerful. I mean, it's a solid thing that, if you know the reasons, if you know why you're doing something, it's more powerful.
For me and you.
Yeah.
So I worked at Comcast, and everywhere in the halls they had these metrics of benchmarks.
The Matrix.
Yeah,
I
matrix.
mean,
The
the
met-
Matrix.
I always get that mixed. I'm sorry. Anyways, and
The Matrix is much
would-
funner than
yeah.
Matrix, by the way.
Oh,
I
Bobby.
don't know. You got the wrong metrics if you're not enjoying them.
Seriously.
You got the wrong.
We're talking after class.
you want the red pill or the green pill? Anyway,
Good job.
they had a check mark on the things, but these were huge goals.
Yeah.
You know, and some weren't checked off yet. And I know that MiFi was on one of the lists down below, and they just launched that like this previous year, quarter or whatever. So it's just cool to see how they've laid it out for the employees where they're headed.
Yeah.
And the transparency.
And again, that's where the management and leadership. So the management lays it out, and you walk by the hall every day, and you see the chart, and you see what isn't checked, right? And that can also become depressive, you know,
Yeah.
and challenging and frustrating, and if it's harped on. But I think that's a call to the leaders, too, to look at, and for all of us to look at something and go, okay, this is an objective. We've identified it. We've put it in writing. We're working on it. We haven't checked the box yet. Why? Why haven't we checked the box? I mean, again, that allows us to be accountable. It allows us to do a better do, a more refined do. So I think we plan our plan and then we work our plans. And part of working our plans is looking at, you know, what we're doing and where we are and who's doing it, right? And then shifting.
So going into be good, do good philosophy, how can you, anybody want to jump in on the be good, do good, and planning, just real quick, and then we'll kind of wrap up.
You know, I think Jay touched a lot of this. What is your good? What is your bigger vision? And I think if you bring that into your planning, as long as you have a be good, do good philosophy and vision in your business, bring that into your planning. And that is the only way it's really going to get past the C-suite. You know, it's got to be part of what you're doing every day so that everyone in the company knows this is how we're doing good. This is what we're accomplishing and why.
It has to be a part of the mission.
Yeah.
And the leadership has to
Have
Be
buy-in.
right.
And
there,
lead
yeah.
from a
They-
space of goodness. Lead
they
from
have
a
to have
concept.
buy-in,
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if we're not creating good in the world, if we're not pushing good, if it isn't happening, that's when we need to step back and look at, again, the why. Why aren't we? And perhaps we need to become more conscious creators. You know, we hear a lot about, boy, you're a mighty creator. You know, it's an incredible thing you can do. We can create for good, or we can create for bad. But what about being a conscious creator and that concept of top of mind and goodness or serving or whatever our cause is? You know, like what Kevin said, make it part of the conversation, part of the agenda, part of the vision.
It comes down to staying aware and absolutely looking at what you're looking at.
Keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my wife worked at a job. We will not say what job it is.
The job.
But during the training, they gave her a book, and I have it up here on the screen. It's called Rhinoceros Success.
Rhinoceros Success.
And I have it at home in my office, and it puts you in this do mode, like charge through things.
Nice.
Like you're the rhinoceros.
Yeah, the
You're-
full title is The Secret to Charging Full Speed Toward Every Opportunity.
So you can check that out on Amazon or whatever. We're not plugging them or anything, but they gave her that book, and when she sat down, it was really exciting. She was learning these great tools. Some of the leadership fell through on the other side of the leadership, and the good that the one guy created didn't fall on the other shoulders very well, and so he was successful from this book and it was inspirational. But I don't think the lower management caught the vision.
And this book, Ryan has it pulled up on the monitor for us to see. It is a perfect red colored cover with a rhinoceros right in the middle, and that iconic charge of a rhinoceros, whether we've actually been in it in real life, because I haven't been chased by a rhinoceros, but viscerally, I think I know what it feels like, right? And that charge, that power.
Not stopping them.
I think I'm kind of prompted to share here, you know, as one potentially final takeaway about planning and about planning meetings, which is where Ryan wanted to be today, is planning meetings get to be energizing. And if I'm in charge and if I'm a leader, part of my responsibility is to energize my people, energize the project, energize the tribe, energize the sales, energize the community, right? It really is. And we overlook that. And I think that's part of a good leader and kind of that rhino charge. If we get done with the meeting, Ryan, and I haven't energized you to do what's on Kevin's to-do list, it's kind of on me.
They got to catch the vision.
Right.
The leaders got to give them this vision that they can catch. We talk about millennials all the time, that millennials will all want to follow some kind of cause or something. And if you can get people to buy into your philosophy and your connection and get them excited about it, they'll want to go out and do.
Yeah, truly. And if I haven't energized the meeting, if I haven't energized the plan, that component is missing.
That is the big, big takeaway.
And I think the energizing, and Kevin called me on earlier, is the why.
Wow.
It is.
All right.
Awesome.
Beautiful people.
All right.
Some beautiful people.
We had a great discussion. It was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us at the Biz for Good show on the monthly EFL 360. It's a mouthful, people.
Founders.
EFL 360 Roundtable.
Founders.
Founders Roundtable.
I'll get it. Even though part of it.
And this is good stuff. This is what we all get to do. This is this is both old and new,
Yeah.
but this is evergreen. I mean, this never goes away. We get to pay attention.
Dive
Wouldn't it be
deep.
great if there were a world where this did go away? Where we all planned and did just like we're supposed to? Man, that would be awesome.
And it just happened.
I mean, I'd be out of a job.
Yeah, I
but
know.
That would be
I
awesome.
Oh gosh.
All right, Ryan, take us out.
All right, yeah, we leave the show with the hashtag be good, do good. So here we go. Hashtag be good, do good.
Do good.
Hashtag
Be good. Do good.
Hashtag
Be good. Do good.
You're crazy.
We're out.
That wasn't what I was looking. What happened?